Chosen one, do not move your finger away from this screen. Do not skip the next sentence. This specific moment in time is not an accident, and you did not find this message because a cold algorithm pushed it to your feed. Heaven has literally bent the rules of time to place this urgent warning directly in your path. Stop what you are doing right now. I know you feel a sudden urge to scroll away. The enemy is trying to distract you. He knows that if you stay in this room for just a few more minutes, his grip on your life will break forever. Stay with me. Breathe in slowly. The heavy exhaustion you woke up with today is not a sign of your failure. It is a spiritual alarm bell ringing violently in the unseen realm. You feel it sitting right there in the middle of your chest. A quiet, persistent pressure that makes it hard to take a full breath. You have been carrying this invisible tension for days, and every single time you try to relax, your mind immediately starts calculating numbers in the dark. The fear of tomorrow is suffocating your peace. I saw you last night. The house was completely quiet, and everyone else was fast asleep. But you were lying there staring at the ceiling. You are so tired of being the strong one, and you are exhausted from bleeding quietly just to prove that you care. You swallowed your tears because you had to be strong for everyone else when the morning came. Let me speak to something tender now, something you have hidden from the world. Your body is reacting to a massive spiritual shift. The fog in your mind is real. The sudden forgetfulness that frustrates you is not because you are losing your mind, but rather it is the physical weight of carrying a massive calling in a fragile human vessel. You are under holy compression. My precious child, unclench your jaw right now. Let your heavy shoulders fall down. You have been bracing for bad news for so long that your nervous system has forgotten what peace feels like. You live in a constant state of survival, waiting for the next bad thing to happen. But I am stepping into your storm today with a specific mandate of rescue. Look at your screen, listen to my voice. Do you really believe it is just earthly timing that you are hearing these exact words today? The day you felt most ready to give up, and the day you silently asked for a sign to know if heaven was still watching. Heaven is not just watching, heaven has actively intervened to pull you out of the deep water. I know the specific fear connected to your finances. I see the endless cycle of working hard only to watch the resources slip right through your fingers. It feels like a curse has been placed on your efforts. You give and you give, but the harvest never seems to reach your own hands, making you feel completely forgotten. You are not forgotten. The heavy sadness that washes over you without warning is spiritual warfare. The enemy targets your resources because he is terrified of what you will build when you are fully funded. He attacks your peace because a calm mind is the greatest weapon you possess, and he wants you to stay locked in the posture of a beggar. But you are not a beggar. You are the rightful heir to a kingdom of provision, and today marks the precise moment where the delay comes to a sudden halt. A massive shift is occurring in the spiritual realm regarding your bloodline, so if you walk away now, you are turning your back on the exact shift heaven orchestrated for you. Stay and receive. Put your hand over your chest if you can. Take one more long, slow breath in, hold it for a second, and let it out. I want you to physically feel the heavy armor falling off your back. You do not have to fight this battle on your own anymore. The isolation you feel is a complete lie, and the feeling that no one understands your burden is nothing but an illusion. I have collected every single silent prayer you whispered in the dark. I have recorded every moment you chose to be kind, even when your own heart was breaking. Your sacrifice has spoken loud in the courts of heaven, and the season of weeping in the shadows is officially over. Listen closely now, for I speak with weight. Let me speak directly to the quiet ache inside your heart. You carry a weight that no one else can see, and every single day you put on a brave face to hide the reality of your struggle. You smile for your family. You tell them everything will be okay. But when the door closes, the heavy mask finally falls off. I saw you sitting on the edge of your bed. The room was completely dark and silent. You were holding your phone, staring at the numbers on your screen with a sinking feeling in your stomach. The math simply does not add up. You calculate the bills over and over again, hoping to find a hidden solution. It feels completely impossible. You are so tired of being the strong one for everyone else. You give your energy to people who never ask how you are doing. You bleed quietly to make sure your loved ones are safe and provided for. And yet, When you need a shoulder to lean on, the room is completely empty. That profound isolation is breaking your tired spirit. I saw the exact moment your heart broke a little more this week. I saw you swallow your tears in the middle of the day. I heard the quiet sigh you let out when another unexpected expense appeared out of nowhere. You felt a tight knot form in your throat. You wondered if heaven had turned a blind eye to your quiet suffering. Stay with me right here. Do not let your mind drift back into the anxiety of those numbers. Your pain is deeply valid, and your tears are not a sign of weakness. You are exhausted because you have been fighting a spiritual battle using only your physical strength. It is like trying to empty the vast ocean with your bare hands. There is a specific reason why this heavy cycle of lack keeps repeating. You have noticed that every time you take one step forward, something unexpected pulls you 2 steps back. It feels like a dark cloud clinging to your family name. I'm going to reveal exactly why this is happening before we finish, but you must remain still. The continuous stress is literally altering your physical body. You wake up with your shoulders pulled up tightly to your ears. Your stomach is constantly tied in uncomfortable knots, and you jump at the slightest sudden noise. This is the physiological cost of carrying the burden of survival all by yourself. You need real rest. Sometimes you look up at the sky and ask what you did wrong. You review your past mistakes, wondering if this constant financial lack is a punishment for something you failed to do. You see other people getting blessed easily, while you are forced to beg for every single crumb of peace. It makes you feel invisible and totally unloved. I know the deep shame you feel when you cannot provide the way you want to. I know the quiet guilt that consumes you when you have to say no to the people you love. I know how much it hurts to work incredibly hard and still have nothing left at the end of the month. The whole earthly system feels entirely rigged against your favor. Breathe slowly now, for I see the exact weight you are holding. Drop your shoulders down away from your neck. You do not have to defend your struggle to me. I do not require you to pretend that you are perfectly fine. Heaven honors your raw vulnerability much more than your fake strength. Let the heavy walls come all the way down. The loneliness you feel in this difficult season is incredibly profound, but this isolation is not a sign that you have been abandoned by the divine. The wilderness always feels incredibly empty, and the waiting room is always the hardest place to sit. You feel like a broken vessel, leaking out all your remaining hope onto dry ground. You have carried this heavy grief for far too long. The quiet nights of weeping into your pillow are recorded in the holy archives of heaven. But you must understand that the pain you are experiencing is not random. It is not just bad luck, and it is certainly not because you are a failure. There is a deeply hidden architecture at play here. I need you to understand something clearly. There is a massive difference between being punished and being prepared. You have looked at your empty bank account and assumed heaven was angry with you. You thought this delay was a direct penalty for not having enough faith. That is a lie. The financial drought you are walking through is not a punishment. It is a fierce protection. Breathe out that heavy guilt right now. Your unanswered prayers were never a rejection from the divine. If heaven had handed you massive wealth while you were still operating with a survivor mindset, the blessing would have crushed you completely. You would have given it all away to toxic people. You would have bled yourself dry trying to save everyone else around you. This is exactly why the door remained tightly closed. You have been placed in a rigorous training season to build your spiritual capacity. Heaven had to break your habit of people-pleasing before handing you the keys to the kingdom. A rightful heir cannot rule a massive estate if they still flinch like a frightened servant. Your delay was actually an aggressive rewiring of your identity. Remember that sudden, urgent feeling in your chest this morning? That invisible pressure that made you stop and listen to this exact message? I promise to tell you why you felt it. It is because the architecture of your training season is finally complete. The heavens are rearranging your reality right now. The heavy gates of the waiting room are swinging wide open today. Hold that sentence and do not let it slide past you. The lack of money in your life is not because you are lazy or broken. It is because you are being equipped to handle generational wealth. You are the cycle breaker of your entire bloodline. And breaking a generational curse requires a level of endurance that normal people simply do not possess. You were built for this heavy lifting. You thought I was silent when you cried in the dark. But I was incredibly busy. I was actively clearing out the hidden traps from your future path. I was removing the small-minded individuals who would have drained your coming harvest. Your temporary lack was the exact instrument heaven used to expose the true intentions of the people sitting at your table. I saw who left when you had nothing to offer them. I watched who completely ignored your quiet pleas for help. That painful isolation was a divine strategy to protect your future assets. Do you see it now? The very thing you called a curse was actually a shield. You were hidden in the shadows so the enemy could not steal your inheritance before you knew how to defend it. Stay with me right here. Do not let the distraction of this world pull your eyes away from what I am revealing. The pain of your past is being converted into a massive spiritual currency. Every single tear you cried over unpaid bills has been stored as equity in the kingdom. You are not starting from scratch. You are starting from a foundation of pure iron. Pause briefly right where you are. Unclench your hands. You have been holding on so tightly to the fear of failure. Let the intensity settle for a moment, because you have carried heavy things in this message. The guilt you feel for not being further along in life is totally invalid. You are exactly where a chosen warrior is supposed to be before the grand reveal. This is where many chosen ones turn back. They feel the ache of the wilderness and mistakenly call it a permanent failure. But you will not retreat. You will not shrink back into the shadows of anxiety. The training season has successfully hardened your spirit against the manipulation of the enemy. You are now ready to manage the overwhelming abundance that is stepping toward you. Do not apologize for the quiet boundaries you are building. Do not feel guilty for stepping away from the chaos of other people. Your focus must be completely unbroken for what comes next. Heaven requires your undivided attention as the vault unlocks. Your days of begging for scraps are over. The season of ruling your inheritance is rapidly beginning. There is another layer beneath this. It is easy to talk about spiritual strength. It is much harder to talk about the quiet exhaustion of your heart. You are the tired caregiver of your family. And every single day you carry the emotional weight of everyone around you while nobody carries yours. You rush to fix their daily problems. You wipe away their bitter tears. You make sure they feel safe and loved. But when your world is falling apart, you retreat into the shadows to bleed alone. I know the heavy burden of being terribly misunderstood. People look at your life and make careless assumptions about your character. They judge your quietness and call it arrogance. They take your kindness and mistake it for weakness. And every time they twist your pure intentions into something ugly, a massive wave of pain washes over your chest. You feel a desperate need to explain your heart to them, but you bite your tongue instead. You force a bright smile when you walk into the room. You laugh at their jokes and nod at their stories. And inside your mind, you are screaming for just one person to ask if you are genuinely okay. They never bother to ask about your feelings. They simply take the energy you freely give and walk away without a single backward glance. You pour water into their cups until your own pitcher is completely dry. This brings us to a very painful question. You wonder why heaven stays so quiet when you are falsely accused by the people you love. You cry out for vindication in the middle of the night. You ask why the divine allows them to lie about your name while you sit in holy silence. I hear every single word of that desperate prayer. I am going to show you exactly why that silence is required very soon. Do not let their noise pull you away from this truth. Listen very closely to me now. Do not skim the next sentence. The physical toll of this performance is destroying your vessel. I see the way you nervously pick at your hands. I notice how you constantly apologize for taking up space in a room. You have been programmed to shrink yourself down so that insecure people can feel massive. You carry their baggage because you are terrified they will abandon you if you say no. That fear of abandonment drives you to exhaustion. You overwork yourself to buy their affection. You over-explain your choices to earn their validation. And the tragedy is that they never truly appreciate the massive sacrifices you make behind closed doors. They constantly expect your absolute flawless perfection. But the moment you stumble under the crushing pressure, they are the very first ones to point a judging finger at your flaws. You feel incredibly trapped in this one-sided dynamic. Setting a healthy boundary feels like a terrible sin to your gentle heart. You worry that if you stop sustaining them, everything will immediately fall apart. You believe their survival is your personal responsibility. That is a crushing lie planted by the enemy to keep you utterly exhausted. He uses broken people to drain your sacred anointing drop by drop. I heard you apologize yesterday when you did absolutely nothing wrong. I saw you take the blame just to keep the peace at the dinner table. You swallowed your pride and let them disrespect your boundaries because you hate conflict. But keeping the peace externally is destroying your peace internally. The heavy pressure in your jaw is the anger you refuse to speak out loud. The first sign that this message is directly for you is that deep pressure. You feel an overwhelming urge right now to text someone and explain yourself one more time. You want to send that long paragraph to prove your innocence. I am giving you a direct order to stop. Put your phone down right now. Do not hit that send button. Your time of performing innocence for committed misunderstanders is completely over. You do not need to be their savior anymore. You are not required to set yourself on fire just to keep cold people warm. Breathe that profound truth deeply into your lungs. It is incredibly painful to realize that the people you fought so hard to save are the ones holding your head under the water. Heaven requires your holy silence today so the absolute truth can finally rise to the surface. Let me show you the unseen truth behind these relentless attacks. You have looked at the constant financial drains and the crushing mental fatigue, and you called yourself a victim of terrible luck. You thought you were simply failing at life. But there is no such thing as random bad luck for a chosen vessel. The spiritual realm operates with exact precision. I need you to understand the true nature of your enemy. He does not waste his ammunition on empty targets. He never attacks a person who poses no threat to his dark kingdom. The adversary is not attacking your finances because you are weak. He is aggressively targeting your resources because he is absolutely terrified of your massive destiny. He sees the mark of the chosen one on your life. This is the exact reason why the generational curse of poverty has clung to your bloodline for decades. He recognized your spirit long before you were even born. He knows that you are the specific cycle breaker sent to tear down his strongholds. If heaven fully funds your vision, you will pull hundreds of other people out of the darkness. He cannot afford to let you win. So he uses calculated distractions to keep you exhausted. He sends toxic people to drain your precious energy. He creates sudden, unexpected bills to keep you trapped in a perpetual state of survival. He desperately wants you to stay on your knees begging for scraps, because a beggar is far too worried about their next meal to fight a spiritual war. But you are a spiritual warrior, waking up on the battlefield. The heavy fog in your mind and the sudden spikes of anxiety are not medical failures. They are heavy smoke screens thrown by an enemy who is completely out of real options. He attacks your mind because your mind holds the divine blueprint for your upcoming harvest. He wants you confused and terrified. Stay with me right here. Do not scroll away from this revelation. The heavy, unexplained sadness that washes over you out of nowhere is not natural depression. It is intense spiritual warfare knocking at your front door. You are standing on the very edge of your arrival season, and the resistance is always the most violent right before the heavy chains break. You must draw a hard line in the spirit today. Gently press the like button right now. This is your physical covenant with heaven today, a silent declaration that you recognize your true authority. You are agreeing that the season of being a helpless victim is entirely over. The enemy has overplayed his hand, and his time of tormenting your household is finished. Every single time a door closed in your face, the enemy thought he had finally defeated you. Every time a friend betrayed your trust, he celebrated your broken heart. He thought the isolation would make you bitter enough to curse the divine. But his twisted plan completely backfired. The intense heat of the fire did not destroy you at all. It only purified your iron resolve. You are a massive threat to the darkness precisely because you refused to become cruel. Even when you were bleeding, you still offered kindness to others. That pure resilience is a superpower that the enemy cannot replicate and cannot defeat. He is absolutely panicking right now because he sees the massive spiritual inheritance being loaded into your hands. Do not believe his lies for one more second. You are not cursed. You are heavily guarded by angelic forces that are rearranging your reality as I speak. The lack of money is a temporary illusion. The loneliness is a brief shadow. You are stepping out of the brutal training ground and walking directly into the throne room. Your enemies are about to become your footstool. Hold your head up high. A rightful heir does not cower when the cold wind blows. You have survived the absolute worst of the storm, and your vessel is entirely intact. The attacks on your finances and your peace are officially failing. The pressure you feel right now is unlike anything you have ever experienced. It is a suffocating weight that sits squarely on your chest the moment you wake up. You try to force yourself out of bed, but your limbs feel like they are made of solid lead. You are standing squarely at the threshold of a massive spiritual shift, and the physical compression is absolutely relentless. You have noticed the intense brain fog lately. It is a sudden forgetfulness that makes you lose your train of thought in the middle of a simple sentence. You stare at your computer screen for hours but cannot seem to focus on a single task. You start to panic. You wonder if your mind is failing you right when you need it the most to secure your future. Let me be perfectly clear about this. You are not losing your mind. That heavy cognitive fog is the physiological cost of your arrival season. Your physical brain is currently bridging the gap between your old survival reality and your new reality of massive abundance. The two hemispheres are temporarily disconnecting under the immense power of this holy upgrade. This is the tension of the threshold. You are heavily pregnant with a profound destiny, and the delivery room is filled with chaotic noise. Every single nerve in your body feels like it is vibrating at a dangerously high frequency. The enemy knows you are exhausted, so he turns up the volume of the daily distractions to push you over the absolute edge. He sends a sudden, unexpected bill in the mail. He causes a minor argument with someone you love to ruin your morning peace. He whispers constant lies into your ear, telling you that all this painful waiting was for absolutely nothing. The pressure inside your head builds until you feel like you are going to literally explode from the sheer frustration of it all. Hold that sentence and let it land deep in your spirit before we move forward. Do not look away. You are trying to process supernatural movements using a tired, mortal brain. That is why the exhaustion hits you so hard in the middle of the afternoon. Your nervous system is working overtime to integrate the massive downloads of prophetic strategy heaven is sending you. You feel a deep, strange disconnect from the things you used to enjoy. The conversations of normal people suddenly feel incredibly shallow and exhausting to your spirit. You crave absolute silence, but even the silence feels heavy with anticipation. You are entirely caught between the closing door of your painful past and the opening door of your glorious future. It is a terrifying place to stand. The anxiety spikes sharply at night. You lay your head down, but your heart races like you just ran a marathon. You review every possible worst-case scenario for tomorrow's problems. This is the enemy's final desperate attempt to make you abort the blessing right on the delivery table. He wants you so tired that you simply hand over your inheritance just to make the loud noise stop. But you will not hand over anything. You are a conqueror. And conquerors do not surrender when the battle reaches its absolute peak. The heavy compression you feel in your jaw and your shoulders is the undeniable proof that the massive shift is happening right now. The enemy only fights this hard when he knows his defeat is a guaranteed certainty. Breathe through the heavy tension. I see every single moment you feel like screaming into the void. The sheer frustration of waiting for a breakthrough while everything around you crumbles is a valid human emotion. But you must realize that the crumbling is necessary. The old foundation must be totally destroyed before the new castle can be built on solid ground. You are being stretched to your absolute physical and mental limits. This extreme stretching is creating the necessary room to hold the vast wealth that is coming to your bloodline. The brain fog will lift very soon. The intense pressure in your chest will finally break like a violent storm, giving way to clear skies. Look at me now. The time for waiting in the shadows is officially over. You have been treating the throne room like a desperate beggar asking for mere crumbs. You cry and you bargain. You promise to work harder if heaven will just grant you a little bit of peace. But heaven does not want your desperate bargains. The transaction is completely finished. I need you to absolutely shatter the mindset of a petitioner today. A petitioner stands outside the heavy gates. They hope someone will take pity on their painful struggle. They live in constant fear of being rejected by the master. But you are not a slave working for a hard master. You are the chosen one. You belong inside the house. The inheritance is yours. Stop acting like a terrified servant in your own kingdom. You have exhausted yourself trying to earn what has already been deeded to your specific name. You thought your painful sacrifices would finally buy you enough favor to stop the suffering. That transactional religion is a total lie. I do not need your perfect performance today. I only need your proximity. Let me show you the unseen truth of your identity. A beggar pleads for a small coin to survive the cold night. An heir walks straight through the heavy doors of the estate and boldly receives the entire kingdom. Which one are you going to be? The enemy desperately wants you to stay on your knees in the dirt. He wants you crying over unpaid bills. But I am commanding you to rise. You must change your physical posture right now. Stand up tall in your spirit, square your tired shoulders, and lift your heavy head. The era of shrinking yourself down to fit into small rooms is completely over. You are the cycle breaker of your entire bloodline, and cycle breakers do not grovel in the dark dust. Do you feel that sudden fire burning in your chest? That is the divine spirit waking up the dormant authority inside of you. You are stepping out of the painful wilderness and walking directly onto the royal carpet. The transfer of wealth is not a future promise anymore. It is an active transfer happening right in this exact moment. The enemy is completely terrified of what happens next. He knows that once you realize your true identity, his weapons will instantly become useless against you. You will no longer accept the scraps of anxiety he throws at your table. You will demand the absolute fullness of your divine right. The massive gates of the treasury are unlocking today. You have passed the brutal test of the wilderness. You remained remarkably kind when you had every right to become cruel. You held on to your faith when the cold silence almost broke your mind. Because you protected your pure heart through the fire, heaven is now trusting you with the heavy crown. The massive blessing will not crush you now. I promised to hand you the missing key before we finished. The key to your arrival season is not crying harder. The key is not praying longer hours. The key is a profound shift in your identity. You must simply stand still and receive. Take ownership of the magnificent destiny that was written about you before the world was even formed. Wipe the tears of defeat from your face. There is nothing left for you to mourn. The painful chapter of constant loss has been permanently closed by a divine decree. You are a spiritual conqueror stepping into the light of the bright sun. Open your empty hands right now. The immense weight of the glory is being passed down to you. Do not let any shadow of doubt enter your mind today. The people who mocked your quiet faith will soon watch in absolute silence as heaven elevates your name. The season of weeping is gone. The season of massive harvest has finally arrived. You are the rightful heir, and your immense kingdom is fully ready for your arrival. The massive door to your arrival season is completely open. The long years of painful waiting are finally over today. Heaven has officially authorized the great wealth transfer to your bloodline. You are walking out of the dark wilderness and stepping directly into the bright light of your glorious harvest. Every single tear you shed in secret has been fully vindicated by the high court of heaven. I declare the heavy chains of generational poverty are completely broken. The vicious cycle of working incredibly hard and having absolutely nothing left is finished. The enemy has lost his dark grip on your financial future forever. You will no longer borrow from anyone just to survive. You will be the lender to many nations, and you will build a legacy of immense blessing for your family. Look at how far you have come through the violent storm. You entered this exact moment feeling like a desperate beggar. You were terrified that the silence meant heaven was punishing you for your mistakes. Now the heavy fog has finally lifted from your tired eyes. You finally see the glorious truth of your magnificent identity. You are the chosen cycle breaker of your entire household. The vault of heaven is unlocked for you today. All the resources you need to fulfill your grand destiny are being released into your hands right now. I want you to literally feel the massive weight of this absolute truth. The anxiety that gripped your chest 10 minutes ago is being washed away by a profound and holy peace. The battle is completely won and the dark war is over. You do not have to fight for your basic survival anymore. You do not have to nervously check your bank account in the middle of the night wondering how you will eat. The divine provision is flowing toward you like a mighty river that simply cannot be stopped. Step confidently into your ultimate spiritual authority. Take your rightful seat at the table, prepared for you in the presence of your enemies. Let this immense pride fill your entire chest right now. You are an elite warrior who survived the absolute worst attacks of the Dark Kingdom. Heaven is incredibly proud of your pure and resilient heart. You did not let the bitter trials turn you into a cruel and unforgiving person. And because you remain gentle, you are trusted with the immense power of the kingdom today. If this safe sanctuary has bound your deep wounds today, if my voice has broken the heavy chains of your crippling anxiety, take a holy moment right now to honor the altar. You are a rightful heir who fully understands the sacred law of multiplication. I invite you to plant a financial seed through the Super Thanks button below as a physical decree of your absolute faith. This is not a desperate plea for earthly money. This is a divine invitation to activate the mathematics of heaven in your own life. When you give freely from a posture of entitled gratitude, you boldly prove that the fear of lack is utterly defeated. You show the enemy that his lies no longer control your wallet. Plant your seed to officially seal this sacred covenant with the divine today. Every single seed you drop on this altar is a loud declaration of your absolute victory. It is your royal signature on the permanent deed of your new inheritance. Give whatever heaven places on your heart today without a single drop of fear. The harvest that returns to you will be pressed down and running rapidly over. You are stepping into a season of unstoppable and massive overflow. Your days of scraping the bottom of the empty barrel are permanently over. You will have more than enough to cover your family and rescue those still trapped in the dark. Rest in this beautiful truth as we prepare to seal the final mandate of this message. The royal treasury is completely yours. The chosen one has finally come home to claim the total and glorious victory. Let the intensity of this moment settle completely into your bones. Pause exactly where you are right now. Do not rush to the next thought. I want you to physically respond to the massive victory that was just secured for you in the heavenly courts. The violent war is over. The heavy dust on the battlefield is finally starting to clear. Close your tired eyes for just one moment. Unclench your tight jaw. You have been grinding your teeth for months as you braced for the absolute worst. Let your tongue fall away from the roof of your mouth. Drop your heavy shoulders away from your neck. You do not need to wear that invisible armor of protection for one more second today because the divine guard has already taken the watch. Take one long and incredibly slow breath in through your nose. Hold that holy air deep inside your lungs. Now let it out with a gentle sigh. Exhale the toxic anxiety that has been living in your chest. Breathe out the terrible fear of tomorrow. You are entirely safe in this quiet room, and no dark force can reach you inside this divine sanctuary while the angels stand guard. Feel the profound stillness washing over your physical body. It starts at the very top of your head and flows down to your tired feet. The heavy spiritual compression is lifting rapidly. And as this beautiful transition happens, your exhausted nervous system is finally receiving the divine permission to completely power down for the night. You are no longer in survival mode. The constant ringing of the alarm bells has officially stopped. I want you to remember how exhausted you felt just an hour ago. You were carrying the crushing weight of the entire world on your small shoulders, but heaven has lifted that massive burden away from you. The future is completely secure. The financial provision is already in motion. There is absolutely nothing left for you to figure out tonight, so you can finally let your busy mind rest in the quiet darkness. You can stop trying to connect the complicated dots. you can stop reviewing your endless list of problems. The divine architect has already drawn the perfect blueprint for your massive harvest. Your only job right now is to surrender to the beautiful peace. Let the gentle waves of absolute calmness wash away every single trace of your lingering doubt as you step boldly into your glorious new season. A rightful heir does not pace the floor in the middle of the night. An elite warrior does not lose sleep over a battle that is already declared a total victory. You are going to sleep so deeply tonight. The dark shadows that used to terrorize your bedroom have been permanently evicted by a holy decree. Your mind will rest in pure silence because the noisy enemy has been completely banished from your sacred property. Anytime you feel the old panic trying to creep back in, I want you to remember this exact physical feeling. Place your hand over your heart right now. Feel the steady and calm rhythm of your own life. That beautiful heartbeat is the physical proof that heaven is not finished with you yet. You survived the brutal fire with a pure heart, and that remarkable resilience is exactly why you were chosen for this massive financial upgrade. Give yourself the grace to recover from the massive spiritual trauma. Healing is a quiet process that requires gentle patience. Do not rush back into the loud chaos. Stay in this soft place of surrender a little while longer. Allow the divine love to gently heal the deep wounds that you have hidden for so many long years while you were busy saving everyone else. You are deeply loved by the Creator of the entire universe. You are fiercely protected by legions of powerful angels who stand guard over your family. Nothing can snatch you out of the mighty hand of the divine. The immense wealth and the profound peace are locked in. Your beautiful name is permanently engraved on the golden doors, ensuring that your legacy will never be erased. Remain in this beautiful state of somatic grounding. Keep your breathing slow and deeply intentional. You have done the hard work of carrying the heavy cross. Now, you get to wear the glorious crown. Let the profound stillness become your permanent home, because you are a brilliant light in the darkness, and the darkness could not consume your beautiful spirit. The heavy season of isolation is breaking off you right now, but heaven always works through connection. You have received the massive blessing. You are the chosen one. Now, you must activate the final key to lock it permanently into place. Do not keep this profound peace entirely to yourself today. You are a lighthouse in the dark. I promise to give you the final key to secure this massive harvest. The key is total surrender combined with holy action. You must physically acknowledge the transfer of wealth that just took place in the spiritual realm. It requires a physical action to anchor the unseen blessing into your current earthly reality. You are signing the royal deed today. This is your physical covenant with heaven. Go to the comments right now, write the numbers 777 to seal this prophetic word. Leave the word Amen below as the first stroke of a signature signed by a rightful heir. This simple action proves that you are completely ready to manage the incredible abundance. You are officially declaring perfect provision. The enemy cannot steal what is securely sealed by faith, but the mathematics of the kingdom require one more step. True wealth is never meant to become stagnant water. It must flow like a mighty river. When you become a conduit for divine blessing, heaven ensures that your own cup never runs completely dry. You must become a vessel of generous love. Now listen to me very carefully. There is someone in your phone contacts right now who is staring at their screen. They are terrified of tomorrow's bills just like you were an hour ago. They are quietly weeping in the dark because they think heaven has totally forgotten them. You have the immense power to be their beautiful rescue tonight. Use your hands to pull them out of the deep water. Pass this exact message on to them. Share it. Save a beautiful soul tonight. When you share my word with someone in deep pain, you instantly set the sacred law of multiplication in motion. Heaven watches your pure generosity and multiplies your own financial harvest 100 times over. The adversary will absolutely try to make you forget this feeling by tomorrow morning. He desperately wants to sever your connection to this divine frequency. He knows that if you stay connected to this holy altar, you will become utterly unstoppable. You must actively protect your daily access to the prophetic word. Do not leave this door unprotected. Subscribe to this sanctuary right now. Do it so tomorrow's word reaches your feed before the old habit of anxiety ever returns. This is how you build a permanent fortress around your mind. By staying here, you guarantee that the dark enemy cannot block the continuous flow of heavenly instructions meant for your family. Secure your position on the wall. The heavy gates of your dark prison are officially destroyed. You are confidently walking into the bright light of an unprecedented era of massive wealth. Do not look back at the painful wilderness anymore. The old version of you that begged for basic survival is completely gone. You are a royal conqueror, wearing a heavy crown of divine favor. Your bloodline will never be the same again. The generational curse of poverty is broken forever because you refuse to surrender to the darkness. Your children will inherit massive estates instead of heavy debts. The wealth of the wicked is actively being transferred into your pure hands. You are the faithful cycle breaker of your entire family tree. Rest perfectly well tonight. The vast treasury is completely open and waiting for you. Your beautiful family is entirely covered by the impenetrable blood of the Lamb. Step quietly into your profound rest. Do not let a single worry disturb your peaceful slumber. The Master has spoken. The massive victory is officially yours.